I bet you didn't know that by the time you're 80 years old, your muscle mass has probably already shrunk by half from when you were younger. This is called sarcopenia, and it robs millions of people around the globe of their freedom. Over 50 million seniors are affected by it. Weak muscles are behind more than 300,000 hospital visits a year due to falls among older adults. Here's where things get surprising. The Journal of Physiology highlights studies that challenge the belief that extreme muscle loss is just a part of aging. Some people in their 70s have the strength, agility, and even looks of someone decades younger, while many others their age struggle to get out of a chair or climb stairs. These super-agers stay fully independent well into their 90s and often outperform younger adults in strength tests. They keep hiking mountains and playing sports. Hit like and subscribe if you enjoy practical health tips like this. So what's their secret? Turns out 93% of older adults don't know the simple habits that can seriously slow or even reverse muscle loss as they age. Yet researchers at the Mayo Clinic have identified them. According to Harvard scientists, most doctors never bring up the single most effective habit that helps rebuild muscle even into the 70s and 80s. In fact, common medical advice often contradicts what science shows is most helpful for staying strong with age. Stick around because the first habit is probably something you've been doing wrong every day. This common mistake speeds up muscle loss by flipping on genes that wouldn't normally be active. Changing this one habit could mean the difference between living independently or needing assistance. Like the video and subscribe for more content like this, and let us know in the comments where you're tuning in from. Now let's dive in. 7th on the list is hormetic stress. One of the most unexpected things strong 80-year-olds do is expose themselves to something called hormetic stress, mild controlled stress that helps the body adapt. Hormesis refers to the idea that substances harmful in large amounts can be helpful in tiny doses. The phrase, "what doesn't kill you makes you stronger," is especially true when it comes to muscles. Research from the Buck Institute on Aging shows that short-term exposure to certain stressors activates cellular defenses, which helps preserve and even boost muscle strength well into old age. One key form of this stress is temperature variation. It activates brown fat, stimulates mitochondrial growth, and releases adiponectin, a hormone that shields muscle from breakdown. Cold exposure, such as ending your shower with 30 to 60 seconds of cold water or doing short cold plunges, works wonders. Hot tubs and saunas do something similar by triggering heat shock proteins that protect and repair muscle cells. A Finnish study found that people who use saunas regularly had 40% less muscle loss over a decade compared to those who didn't. The second hormetic stressor is intermittent fasting. By restricting eating to a window of 8 to 10 hours a day, super-agers boost muscle quality and activate autophagy, the body's internal cleanup system, without losing weight. According to the Salk Institute, this method can enhance muscle mitochondrial function by up to 10% in just 12 weeks. The third hormetic stressor? Intense, brief muscle contractions. Super-agers often do overcoming isometrics, pushing or pulling against immovable objects for 5 to 10 seconds at full force. These quick but powerful efforts tell muscle cells to stay large and active, without stressing the joints. The key is that these stressors are occasional and always followed by rest. When used correctly, they activate longevity genes like FOXO and sirtuins, which help preserve muscle as we get older. Ease into these habits gradually so your body can adjust. The goal is helpful, not harmful, stress. 6th on the list is timing your protein. While total protein intake matters, new research suggests timing is just as important. As we age, the body becomes less efficient at using protein, a problem known as anabolic resistance. A study in the Journal of Nutrition found that instead of loading all their protein at dinner, older adults should aim to spread it across all meals. Now here's the big insight. Muscle protein synthesis peaks about 3 to 4 hours after eating. Most seniors eat little protein at breakfast and lunch, saving most for dinner. But spacing out protein, getting 25 to 30 grams of quality protein at each meal, can make a big difference. So ditch the toast or cereal in the morning and go for eggs, Greek yogurt, or a protein shake. For lunch and dinner, stick with lean meats, fish, dairy, or plant-based options like beans and lentils. Compared to cramming protein into one meal, this approach can boost muscle protein synthesis by up to 25%. In a 12-week study at the University of Texas, participants who followed this strategy gained an average of 1.2 pounds of muscle, without changing anything else. If you want your muscles to grow or even just stop shrinking, it's not only about how much protein you eat, but also when you eat it. 5th is optimizing your vitamin D levels. Did you know over 80% of seniors are deficient in what's often called the muscle vitamin? Vitamin D deficiency is a silent strength killer in older adults. Here's why. Besides supporting your bones, vitamin D switches on the genes that help build and maintain muscle. Your cells have vitamin D receptors that trigger these processes. In a study published in JAMA Internal Medicine, seniors with high vitamin D levels had 25% more muscle strength than those with low levels. They also had better coordination, quicker reaction times, and better balance, key for fall prevention. Levels below 20 nanograms per milliliter are considered deficient. Super-agers almost always have levels above 40, but here's the catch. As we age, our skin makes 50% less vitamin D from sunlight. The usual 600 IU daily isn't enough. Based on blood tests, most older adults need between 2,000 and 4,000 IU per day to maintain ideal levels. Add vitamin D-rich foods to your diet, like fatty fish egg yolks and fortified dairy, and get 15 to 20 minutes of midday sunlight when you can. But don't forget about vitamin K2. Found in fermented foods and some animal products, K2 helps calcium get to your bones instead of clogging your arteries. Too much vitamin D without enough K2 can cause calcium to build up in the wrong places. This vital nutrient combo could be the key to your success. Ask your doctor to check your vitamin D levels and aim to keep them above 40 nanograms per milliliter to keep your muscles from wasting. Coming up, habit number 4, keeping inflammation under control. So what's the common thread among the strongest older adults? They all have one thing in common: low levels of chronic inflammation. Researchers now say that inflammaging, a steady low-grade inflammation, is a major cause of age-related muscle loss. This silent form of inflammation breaks down muscle protein faster than your body can rebuild it. But that's only part of the story. Inflammation also blocks the signals your body relies on to build muscle after exercise and protein intake, regardless of how much protein you're eating or how often you work out. A landmark study from Tufts University revealed that seniors with the highest levels of inflammation lost muscle 3 times faster than those with the lowest levels. Super-agers, older adults who retain youthful strength, use anti-inflammatory strategies that most seniors overlook. Their top priority? Consistent quality sleep. They go to bed at the same time every night and sleep in pitch darkness. Missing sleep ramps up inflammatory cytokines by up to 40%, speeding up muscle loss. Next, they pay attention to gut health. Age-related changes to gut bacteria are now linked directly to body-wide inflammation, according to research from the University of California. Super-agers regularly eat a wide variety of plant foods, over 30 types per week, along with fermented options like kefir, yogurt, and sauerkraut. These foods offer natural probiotics and plenty of diverse fiber. They also plan their workouts with care. While movement every day is important, seniors should steer clear of high-intensity training too often. It can trigger inflammation. Most super-agers stay active at a moderate pace daily, adding short bursts of intense effort just once or twice a week. Lastly, they include powerful anti-inflammatory nutrients in their routine omega-3 fatty acids, 2 to 3 grams daily from fish or supplements, curcumin and polyphenol-rich foods like berries, green tea, and olive oil. A simple blood test for high-sensitivity C-reactive protein can help track your inflammation levels. While typical seniors have levels 3 to 5 times higher, super-agers usually keep theirs under 1.0 milligrams per liter. Taking the right vitamin daily matters too. Most nutrition advice focuses on protein, carbs, and fats, but super-agers with superior strength pay close attention to certain micronutrients that support muscle building and repair. These nutrients act like keys that unlock the benefits of food and exercise. Without them, even the best diet and workout won't stop muscle loss. Magnesium is often called the forgotten electrolyte for muscle health, and it's first on the list. Over 70% of older adults are low in it, even though it's involved in more than 300 reactions related to muscle function. A 2021 study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that seniors with adequate magnesium had 30% stronger grip strength and much better physical performance than those who were even mildly deficient. Super-agers often get it from foods like leafy greens, seeds, nuts, and dark chocolate, and may supplement with absorbable forms like glycinate or threonate. Often thought of as a bodybuilder's supplement, creatine actually helps older adults gain strength, muscle, and even better brain function, more effectively than strength training alone. A 2015 McMaster University study showed that 3 grams a day increases muscle energy and water content, creating a more anabolic environment. Then there's methylated B12. This active B vitamin is key, especially as stomach acid, needed for absorption, declines with age. Even worse, Common drugs like metformin and proton pump inhibitors deplete B12 levels even further. Without enough B12, both your nervous system and muscle energy production suffer. Super-agers typically use methylcobalamin, the active form of B12, instead of the cheaper cyanocobalamin found in most multivitamins. Also essential are trace minerals like zinc, selenium, and chromium. One large Tufts University study found that optimal levels of these minerals were tied to a 22% improvement in muscle maintenance over 5 years. Super-agers usually get tested for micronutrient levels so they can fill only the gaps, avoiding one-size-fits-all multivitamins and saving money in the process. Now on to habit number 2, protecting your neuromuscular connections. Here's something most older adults don't know. When muscles shrink, it's not just the fibers that suffer. The nerves that control them begin to break down too. Neuromuscular junctions are like power cords linking your brain to your muscles, and once they start deteriorating, which happens faster after 60, diet and exercise alone can't fix the disconnection. Studies from the University of Michigan show that super-agers have significantly better nerve-muscle communication than their peers. Even better, researchers have discovered ways to preserve and even restore these critical links. One approach focuses on precision movements that require coordination. Unlike standard strength training or walking, exercises like Tai Chi, dancing, ping pong, or tennis improve the brain's communication with muscles. These movements demand that your nervous system engage muscle fibers in more complex patterns. In 2020, researchers showed that seniors who did these activities twice a week had 31% stronger neuromuscular connections compared to those who stuck with basic exercise routines. A second approach focuses on nutrients that support nerve muscle health. Supplements like alpha-lipoic acid and acetyl L-carnitine help defend against oxidative stress at the neuromuscular junction. There's also promising data on B1 forms like benfotiamine and plant-based compounds like huperzine A from Chinese club moss, which boost acetylcholine, the key neurotransmitter for muscle activation. Super-agers even use targeted breathing techniques to stimulate the vagus nerve, which plays a role in neuromuscular coordination. One method, box breathing, involves inhaling for 4 counts, holding for 4, exhaling for 4, then holding again for 4. Just 5 minutes a day of this kind of breathing has been shown to improve nerve activation in muscles by up to 15%. And perhaps most fascinating of all, mental stimulation itself is linked to the preservation of these vital nerve connections. A groundbreaking study from Columbia University found that older adults maintained significantly better muscle function when they regularly took part in mentally stimulating activities. Because the brain and neuromuscular system rely on many of the same neural circuits, researchers discovered that cognitive training had a direct positive impact on muscle coordination and strength. By applying these strategies, super-agers managed to preserve their brain-to-muscle connections well into their 80s and beyond, enabling them to activate muscle fibers with remarkable efficiency. The next habit is progressive resistance training, what truly sets apart exceptionally strong 80-year-olds from their peers. Experts at Tufts University have even called it the most potent anti-aging treatment ever identified. But here's the key. It's not resistance training the way most seniors do it. Most older adults never hear this simple but essential rule. Muscles follow the use it or lose it principle, with a twist. To keep them, you must keep challenging them. Doing the same basic workout with light weights over and over won't cut it. Walking and water aerobics are great for health, but after age 60, they're not enough to maintain real muscle mass. So how do super-agers do it differently? First, they prioritize intensity over duration. Research from McMaster University showed that just 2 weeks of high-intensity resistance workouts, taken to muscle failure, led to more gains than 5 weeks of moderate training. What matters most is reaching the point where you can't complete another rep with good form. Exercise scientists call this transient muscle failure. Hitting this point sends strong growth signals that trigger muscle protein synthesis for up to 72 hours after the workout. Second, super-agers focus on compound movements. Exercises that activate multiple muscle groups at once. They tailor moves like squats, deadlifts, rows, and presses to suit their mobility and joint health. These movements prompt a stronger hormonal response than isolated exercises like curls or leg extensions. Third, they use progressive overload. That means consistently increasing the challenge of their workouts over time. Muscles adapt quickly, so lifting the same weights month after month leads to stagnation. Super-agers keep a workout log and push themselves just a little further with each session. Fourth, they emphasize the eccentric phase of each movement. That's the part where you lower the weight slowly. Eccentric training is especially effective for aging muscles, as it builds strength while minimizing joint stress. Surprisingly, this approach even works for late starters. A groundbreaking study from the University of Alabama found that older adults who followed a 12-week progressive resistance program improved their strength by 35% and gained an average of 3.3 pounds of lean muscle. They also saw improvements in brain function, bone strength, and blood sugar levels. So what's the most common mistake retirees make? Many believe that resistance training is either too dangerous or outdated. But in truth, avoiding it puts them at greater risk. Without resistance training, muscle loss accelerates, raising the odds of frailty, falls, and loss of independence. If you take just one step from this video, make it starting a consistent resistance training habit. To ensure you're doing it safely and effectively, consider meeting with a trainer first, then work your way up at your own pace to the right level of intensity. Just 2 30-minute strength sessions a week can dramatically slow aging and preserve your physical independence. There you have it, the 7 science-backed habits that explain how some 80-year-olds remain strong and capable. Start with the one that feels most doable for you and gradually adopt the others. Investing effort now in building your strength will pay off in a big way down the road. Now it's your turn to share. Are you already doing any of these 7 habits? Which one surprised you the most? Do you know an older adult who shows incredible strength for their age? Drop a comment below. We'd love to hear your story. Thanks for being with us today. Thanks for being